Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's another one of those IMPO products for school education locations. And it is a digital meter, like it says. It can do volts DC, volts AC, amps, and all that kind of stuff. And it's very, very heavy. I believe it's full of batteries, and of course it doesn't turn on. So maybe somebody forgot a stack of batteries in it many years ago. So I better try and open this one. And luckily there is a little instruction here to figure out how to change the batteries, so I will try and do that first, and then we'll see how bad it is. This is not looking too good. Can you see the slimy here, all wet and gross? Oh, this is bad. This plate is all wet and oh my god, this is bad. Let's get a little bit of light in here. So it is wet and slimy. I'll try and take it a little bit more apart. Why we got all those wires? Oh, so there's a... Ugh. This is nasty. So what is the idea with the 3 wires for the battery pack? And then it is like that. So it looks like it's running off a split supply, right? I made a little drawing how this is all connected. So that will be the 6 cells and the color codes for the wires. I want to cut the wires here and throw all this away, and then I want to go and see if I can clean up the rest of the instrument. That was really difficult to pull apart because those screws down here, there's, I don't know about the isolation. See, there's a little rubber, no, this is a little plastic thing, and then another isolator, and then the idea is, for whatever reason, this circuit board here was screwed in this little shield box, and the wires, they're way too short, so I could hardly get my fingers in and hold the nuts and then screw this out and get it apart. How did somebody assemble this thing? It's impossible. Well, now I need to go and see if I can clean all this. So now I've been cleaning all the different parts, so now I can nicely touch it and it's not bad and nasty smelly. And the battery wires, I don't understand why they're so crazy thick, but remember this little drawing I made here. So black is not exactly the center point. We've got a 3 volt positive and 6 volt negative. So that's just the way that it runs, okay? So the idea is it turns, of course, off the positive and the negative supplies using 2 sets of this switch. And you can see all the different points here where it's supposed to be on. They're just connected together, and then it goes to a thin blue wire for on. And I think it's the same with the red one at the back. You can't really see that one. And then it goes to a thin red one. So that is, I want to change those wires to some thin wires so it's easier for me to handle this board. So this is the little input scaling and amplifying board. And this goes, of course, to all the switches. So here's a little funny thing. This is the amp input, right? So the red one is only all the smaller amps, and 10 amp mode is the green one. So this is that one, right? And the idea is, you see here the 10 amp goes here. See, there's a short wire to the black one, and then there's another short wire down there. So those two wires there are in parallel, and they are probably made of Constantan or some material like that. And there's a little solder blob to fine-tune the readout. The thin wire is, of course, the low amp mode for the red wire, and then the red wire goes to a fuse, and this is, of course, the fused amp mode, and you will use this for all the smaller experiments you are poking around with. And it's also nice to have a fuse in case you do something stupid. I think the little op amp there is for the AC modes. The resistors we see here, that will be for the different modes of voltage or voltage ranges. And that is basically, oopsie doopsie, what there is about this thing. The front panel board is just this classic analog input LCD driver chip. Can't really remember the ICL something like that, right? And then the LCD display. And it says here, I should probably try and translate this text for you. It says a digital elevmeter med batteri. So that means a digital student meter with a battery. And then I think 5178. Can this really be from 1978? That could be pretty cool if that is the case. Yeah, I think it. I mean, is it really that old? I would think about the 80s, it's mid 80s. I mean, 78 really? I don't know. But if anybody know the true age of this meter, I would definitely love to know. But so far, my best guess will be the 78. I always find those date level labels inside IMPO products. So let's try and power this up and see if there's anything that's working a little bit. So here's what I will do. Remember the 3 colors again. So the center point is the black one, -6 volts, +3. And this is a really funny battery pack. It goes in like this, and then there's, I don't know if I can show you this, but I think there's a funny wire here. What the heck? But anyway, I think we should just try and turn this thing on, and it shows the voltage. So that will be 200 millivolts, 2 volts full range. Let's try and give this some volts and see if it works. And here we go. So this should be 1.3, and it is, yeah, a little bit too high. And let's go to the 2 volts. This is the 2 volt range, and it's, yes, exactly. So it overloads at 2 volts, and this is 1.9 volts. So it's a tiny little bit high. 20 volts also shows 1.9, so that is not too bad. So in 200 volt range, ooh, that is also nice. And there's a 500 volt range that says 1. So hey, let's try and give this like 10. So there's a resolution here of 1 volt in the 5. That's quite clear, right? So that is 20 volts and 30. Yeah, that is definitely within specifications. And that is our 30 volts. How about that? And let's try the, what else can we do? I want to go and try the amps, volts AC. So I better do a little bit of check here. So here is how it should work. I mean, we saw the current shot between negative and positive here, didn't we? So I set the power supply for 200 milliamps. And we see nothing. So let's try the 10 amp range and then put it in here. Okay, so that's very close to the 0.2. And I believe that fuse is probably broken, but I really checked it visually. Well, that is of course not the same as checking it. Where are you? But that looks quite all right to me, doesn't it? But there's... What else can we have? I better replace the fuse. Oh, that socket. Is that really? I mean, I don't know if we can make this focus. But this is definitely looking perfectly fine. What is wrong? Oh, there's a tiny little dot. Well. So that is what I'm saying. I'm not absolutely stupid here. So this is the fuse. And look at that, 0 ohms, oh, sort of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that darn fuse, so how is this not working? What am I doing wrong here? So I think it was the fuse socket, because look what I've done. I repaired it by just moving the fuse back in. And that is definitely as close to 0.2 as you can imagine. And my power supply over there is just driving me nuts, but it wants to tell me that I've done something wrong. There isn't any sound off kind of feature on those cyclid power supplies, but well. So that seems to be working. What else can we try? We should try volts AC. And then how many volts of AC? I see there's a little bit of offset. Of course it is not in the chassis or the shielding and all that, so you can see how it's affecting. So this is 1 volt at 1 kilohertz. Let's try and change it to 100 hertz. Yeah, it is of course designed for near mains frequency. Yeah, that is what I would have expected. So let's just try 50 hertz. It's about the same. 20 hertz. Okay, and then it goes down. So 30, 40. Okay, and then it goes good. So there's a pretty good margin to the mains frequency and also to the ripple, that is 100 hertz. Okay, let's try and go a little bit of 200. And then it already 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's definitely not audio range, so that will be 1 kilohertz, and then it goes crazy. So there's just a little op amp and some stuff doing that. It's not a true RMS kind of thing, but it works around 50, 100 hertz, easy, and it's quite all right for that. So I mean, I'm quite happy I got this today at the local flea market, and I was able to bargain this down to half the price. So I mean, I don't know if I collect IMPO, but I just find them a little bit funny somehow. I want to add some varnish to the circuit boards and maybe a little socket or something. I don't know how to put on the battery sockets, so it's not going to be a big problem, but I think you got the point, and that is the end of this tiny little video about my latest little digital meter. So thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.